The trail is a metaphor for change. Although hiking, and specifically endurance hiking, is now a big part of my day-to-day, it's not just about exercise. It's about transformation. Each step is a movement towards clarity, purpose, and identity. But movement is one thing, sharing insights gained is another. As a U.S. Marine veteran, I created this space to help other veterans gain clarity, purpose, and identity. Let's walk this path together. This is Trail to Transformation.
Most people aren't broken, they're just dysregulated. Chronic stress, pain, anxiety, and burnout aren't mindset failures. They're nervous systems stuck in survival. I'm Leland Holgate, combat veteran and neuroscientist, and I created the Welcome Home method to help people rewire their nervous systems with breath. To go deeper, visit thewillfulwarrior.com.
Hey, welcome back, everybody. Of course, my name is Dr. Keith McNally, and once again, I'm here with Michelle Ann Collins. Thank you so much for joining me in conversation.
Thanks for having me. I always like to be here with you.
Today, we're going to do something a bit different. Now, typically, I'm leading the conversation. This time, you're going to lead the conversation, specifically because I'm not sure when this is going to air, and it'll probably air by the time I'm on the Appalachian Trail. And so, again, everybody's going to recognize that my thru-hike of the Appalachian Trail, at least my attempt, but I'm going to envision this as being a successful attempt from Springer Mountain, Georgia, all the way through Katahdin, Maine. As a veteran, as a disabled veteran, as somebody who struggles with PTSD, suicide ideation, depression, and psychosis, that's a whole gamut of possible things that can go wrong with me. Now, I do have Ashley, and right now she's downstairs. So she's my training and trail partner. But I've identified some things that could easily be mental obstacles or hiccups along the way. And I've shared some of those fears with you. And we're going to spend the next few minutes, the episode of Trail to Transformation. You're going to interview me about that. And so I'm really excited about this conversation because on my own show, I'm now the guest.
Yeah, I'm excited about that too. Partly just because I'm so inspired about by your story and the fact that you are carrying so many heavy things into the trail with you. So I'm not talking about what's in your pack, and I have been reading how you've been lightening your pack. And Ashley, by the way, is a dog. Keith didn't mention that. Your partner, your walking partner.
She's fantastic.
Yeah. So I just wanted to clarify that you are walking as a solo human, but with a companion animal. All of the things you just mentioned about your journey to this point can be really, really heavy burdens, trauma, depression, PTSD. And yet, what I've learned in my studies over the years of mindfulness and from spiritual teachers, trauma teachers, that shining a light on difficult things, being able to just come out and say what you said right then about the things that you suffer from, lessens suffering. So I just want to take a moment to just appreciate the strength it takes as a combat veteran to even admit or disclose, because admit makes it sound like you've done something wrong. You have not. But to disclose these intimate details of what could be considered frailties or failures, and not just disclose, but help others through these difficult things. And I'm just so inspired by and awed by your openness and your willingness to share that, and not only share it but pursue treatments and help others with these difficulties. So
Well, I appreciate that. And so, and often, um, I have always called them weaknesses, and the fact that I'm broken. And I've kind of moved away from those words because I don't want
good,
to
good.
reinforce them. But it's only been my fifth suicide attempt, 2021, um, and five overall since leaving the Corps. I have not. It's only been recently. We talk about me disclosing all of this. It's only been with literally, and it's being 2026, the past 2 years that I have, felt comfortable enough, able. And it's only through having many conversations with people, you included, who have shared their victory stories with me that have allowed me the confidence and the courage to share my story.
Yeah, well, and I appreciate you giving all the credit to everyone else, but your strength in getting here and being here and staying here, it really shows a lot of strength and stamina in the most difficult way.
I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Yourself, you're the one who got here. So,
So I'm facing five different fears.
right, yeah, we're going to talk about
You
fears.
want to list them, or do you want me to list them? How
Well,
do you
let
want to
me.
get started?
It's really hard for you to give over the show, isn't it, Keith? I'm getting there. I know you have your own show. What I was gonna, I had this great segue, and you just blew it, but I'm gonna go into it anyway. So one of the things that is the most courageous thing that you can do is talk about the things that scare you, the things that you're afraid of, because bringing any suffering out into the light of awareness lessens the suffering. So, Keith, I know you are writing about and speaking about your 5 basic fears or main fears going into your Appalachian Trail hike. Would you like to list them and then maybe pick one to expound on? We don't have enough time to really go deeply into each one, but we can see how
Um,
it goes.
uh, what has been a big burden? There are several things that have been a big burden for me specifically, and so I guess I'll just highlight the top three. I know I mentioned five. One, of course, is literally being able to do this thing. That sounds like, well, you just get on the trail and you walk it, right? And it's like, well, then you start doing all the research. And so one of the things that we find out is only 1 in 4, typically 25% of those who register and make the attempt to do the through hike. And so for context, a through hike is 2,197.9 as of, I think, the latest calculations through the Appalachian Trail Conservancy. Um, 14 states. I'm going to go northbound, so from Springer Mountain, Georgia to Katahdin, Maine. Um, the second thing that we recognize is this is like climbing Mount Everest, not one consistent climb up, but through the elevation changes, right? Climbing Mount Everest about 13 to 14 times and doing that specifically in whatever block of time you're giving yourself. So for me, it's probably going to be about 5 months because I have, Ashley who said she's going to be with me. The fear is not being able to do it. Having prepared for this for 3.5 years, not being able to do it. I would be disappointing myself, but I think my fear is also disappointing everybody else who was supporting me. Like, you're my cheerleader. I've got cheerleaders here locally. Whether I go, walk around my neighborhood, I get the wave or the thumb. People are knowing what I'm doing.
Yeah.
They might not even know my name, but they know what I'm doing, and they know this crazy guy's carrying this, this heavy rucksack.
Okay, I just want to interrupt for 1 second
Go ahead.
to, I don't know if this will help with your fear, but I just want to put a truth out there. If there is something that makes this fear come true, something interferes with your completion of this incredible goal, the people that you say when you're walking around, running into them, telling me, telling your audience, no one is going to be disappointed in you. Everyone is admiring, inspired by, even the attempt, even the plans, the preparation that you've gone through. So your fear of disappointment, just to be clear, the only person that might be disappointed will be you. None of us will be.
Well, again, this is all internal. So,
I know, but I had to put that out there.
okay.
And yes, fear is, I want to bring up some of the quotes I've gotten from some of your recent writing on fear. And keep in mind, we're only on fear one. So we need to, but one of the
We could do
things,
another conversation.
yeah, I know every time we talk, we're like, we need to, you've talked about fear as shrinking when trust expands. I love that. Trust that not every unknown is a threat because fear shrinks when trust expands. What a beautiful quote.
That's a learned experience. And it that wasn't something that just clicked on. It was kind of I'm going through an evolution. And I think that that process is, inching forward every day. And I've literally had to learn that very specifically because for me, it's what if I get up today, and today's an example, there are days I don't even want to get out of bed, you know, I mean, that's
Same.
literal.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And then knowing that I promised myself daily 12 miles. And that's routine. Like even the intro, it's like that's routine. For the past 3.5 years, it grew to that.
Mm-hmm.
But what if the pack is too heavy one day? And what if I only do 11 miles a day? Today we did 13. It's I know that if there's a couple of ifs here, if I can get out of bed, if I can get dressed full gear, I know that if I can accomplish those two things, once I get outside, everything changes. Like the body, the mind, the soul, the spirit all align. And I know once I start walking, the trust is I can do this. I can literally do that. And like I said, and then what helps is, seeing those people, going to work and, wherever I am, and they don't know my name, but they know that I'm this guy with this pack. Some of them have asked me, "What the heck are you doing?"
Mm-hmm.
And even today, is like there's this guy. He starts one and I start the other. Today we met in the middle. It's a country song, I think, at some point. Um, you know, he's a Marine. I'm a Marine, so he's saying, Semper Fi and Hoorah and all of those things that Marines do. And he's, he's counting, and he knows three. Last week it was 4 weeks. This week it's 3 weeks. That's the time of this recording. It's getting close. You're going to be on, the starting gate. But
I'm going to interrupt you again because
go for it.
I want to keep asking questions. And this
Go
next question, just bringing it back to that quote
But trust,
about trust
trust
expands.
is what's getting me out of bed. I could do it.
Okay. Now, what I want to ask you, and I don't want you to answer this now. I want to hear about this from the trail. How, when that fear of not finishing, not completing, how, when you're walking on the trail, is fear going to shrink while trust expands. And I'm happy with you asking yourself that every day on the trail and even making a little voice memo about it. How is trust expanding today?
Am I answering that now?
Nope. I'm
Okay.
leaving that with you.
Okay.
I'm moving on. So, um, another quote that is so amazing to me, and it actually goes really nicely with that question I just asked you. The goal isn't domination; it's adaptation. You said that in a blog about one of your fears, and so adaptation, right? So maybe you don't dominate the trail, but you adapt to your current situation. So give me an example, and you did give an example here of how that looks when you're out on the trail.
And again, all of these things are, you know, as I learn them, I share them. Because for me, I wanted to tackle this. Initially, the goal was to tackle this like a 25-year-old Marine, heavy pack, get out there, push it through. And as I'm training and as I'm talking to people, and again, elevation changes, climbing Mount Everest, 2,000 miles, this is an exhaustion on my body. And sometimes it's an exhaustion on my mind. And so I literally have had to change how I mentally approach and physically approach this adventure, this journey. In the very thought that, I pulled back on all the weight, right? So now I'm carrying maybe a 30-pound sack, and even that's considered heavy by those who've done it multiple times. But I have to carry, Ashley's food as well as my food. So, and food is heavy. Um, I've had problems with my feet. My feet swollen up. Uh,
Okay, I'm going to stop. I
well,
want to
wait, give me time
just.
for this. The
Oh,
adaptation.
all right.
To
Okay.
adapt wearing different shoes. I've had to adapt with what can I do in a day. So on the weekends, I push it out to 20. Um, I've had to adapt my training regimen to be realistic and how to approach this, not from I'm going to do it all in a day, but I'm going to do it over time. And that was the biggest mental challenge for me because I want to be successful regardless of the first fear. um, I'm going to be out there whether it takes me 5 months or 10 months. I'm going to do it. How I do it is through daily adaptation.
Adaptation.
I
Yeah,
learn from
perfect.
I learned what I did today moving into tomorrow, and then with that I'm going to make the changes necessary. So if I've got to take a 0 day, which is you don't hike that day, um, that's an adaptation because for me it's every day 15, push it through. One of the things I don't know is I don't know what I don't know. I don't know how to do this. I don't know how to do it because I've never done it before.
Right.
I don't have the
Yeah.
experience, and so that's my
But
adaptation.
you have prepared as much as you can. So bringing with you on the trail that skill of adaptation is the only thing left, right? Because you don't know what you don't know. And then when you know it, you adapt.
Yeah, and
So
that's exactly right.
sounds really perfect. That kind of sounds fearless to me, actually.
I don't know, but I gotta.
Speaking of which, let's go to another fear. So
Okay.
your fear of not being able to do it. And then what's your next greatest fear?
Um, to be honest, it is listed as number two. I'm afraid of the dark. I'm a 56-year-old man. I'm afraid of the dark, but that comes through the trauma.
Mhm.
That I experienced. And so, dark is dark. And I sleep with a nightlight on. God help me. I just told the world I did that. But
Yeah, and if anyone out there wants to know more about these fears, Keith's blogs about them are excellent. Reading about them will help you with your own fear. Reading those blogs will help you with your own fears. So highly recommend.
you can find them on LinkedIn. I have to adapt to that, to being feeling safe, however that gets there, feeling safe, um, where I can't see. Um, so I'm going to have to figure that out. I don't know how to do it. I haven't learned how to do it yet. Like I said, I'm old. Um,
You
I
be quiet. I'm older than you are. Don't be saying that. That's not okay.
so I'm so I don't know. But it is real. And as I navigate this, as I talk to you, as I talk to other people, one of the things that you had mentioned either earlier in this conversation or in another conversation is by talking about it, it becomes less. I'm less anxious about it. You know, I say I'm afraid of the dark. It's going to be an experience. Once we do our first 15 miles on that first day and we set up the tents, um, we have to eat dinner. She has to eat dinner, and then we have to cycle through, mentally prepare the overnight. The first couple of nights, it's not going to be easy at all for me or for her. She doesn't adjust well to new environments. The Appalachian Trail is going to be a brand new environment for her as it is for me. And so, not that she's afraid of the dark, but she's in a new space. Her comfort is that she's with me, and she does feel good with that. And I spend all day with her, literally all day with her. So we train, we take a nap. We take a nap again at age, but
Naps are
then
super important when you have a dog.
we'll we'll go in the backyard and we'll play fetch. She gets belly rubs, and so we're always together, and that may be the ticket for at least us, for me and for her, as we go into this to face my fear of the dark, because she's going to be with me. She's like this protector, guardian
Mhm.
angel. She's got 4 legs, but she's going to be hypersensitive, as dogs are.
Right.
It's not anything
They
that's
hear they hear so much better than we do. And
yeah.
so I want to say a quote from your blog that you wrote about, or article that you wrote about the fear of the dark.
Okay.
And you talk about how you keep a bathroom light on, so you don't actually sleep in the dark, in the full dark. That small light is not about weakness, it's about regulation. And I love that shift in perspective, because we all need to be self supportive of our fears, accept them, work with them, find tools, light, a light in the bathroom if that's your tool. And you will find a tool when you're out on the trail to
And that's
work with.
trust. And that's going back to trust.
Back to trust, right? Yeah. So uh, looks like we are close to time.
Well,
Um,
let me share one thing, if I could, and
okay.
then I'll let you close the conversation.
Okay.
For everybody who's watching this, even if you're watching this as a rerun or going back to it while I'm on the trail. So the expectation is starting March 29th, going all the way to the end, whenever that ends. I want to do it in 5 months. So at least through August, April, May, June, July, August. Sooner the better getting done. But if you can support that, my mission, my first time through, anything that goes to the GoFundMe campaign, which comes at the end of the show, would be greatly appreciated, even if it's, just $5 for dog food, and dog food is a bit more than that. But with that as it is, Michelle, close us out.
We will see you on the trail.
Imagine a world where every veteran finds a reason to keep going. That's the vision behind the Trail to Transformation Foundation. Help us make it real. Donate through the GoFundMe link. And as always, I'll see you on the